Hello students, I am Narsimlu, commerce teacher. Today I am going to teach you CEC first year accountancy, chapter 7, journal proper, opening entry. Dear students, it is important chapter and easy to score 2 marks in the annual examinations. One question definitely comes in the annual examination for 2 marks. So students, you have to watch the entire video carefully to score 2 marks. If you are able to memorize 10 to 20 assets and liabilities, you will definitely get 2 marks in the annual examination. And it is easy to prepare the journal proper, and it is very easy to enter the opening entry in the journal proper. Let's start. Journal proper. First, you can go to understand what is the meaning of journal proper. Journal proper is the 8th or the last subsidiary book. In this book, all those transactions which cannot be recorded in the other 7 subsidiary books are recorded. The preparation of journal proper is similar to the ordinary journal. Dear students, here you know there are total 8 subsidiary books. 1. Purchase book. 2. Purchase return book. 3. Sales book. 4. Sales returns book. 5th. Cash book. 6th. Bills receivable. 7th. Bills payable. And last and final one, that is subsidiary book, is journal proper. So here journal proper is the 8th or the last subsidiary book. In this book, all those transactions which cannot be recorded in other 7 subsidiary books are recorded. What does it mean? Here we have total 8 subsidiary books. Just before I explain all those 8 subsidiary books, namely sales book, purchase book, sales returns book, purchase returns book, cash book, bills receivable and bills payable, and last one, that is journal proper. So it is the last book. So journal proper is the last book in the subsidiary books. Okay, so each book we are going to use for specific purpose. For example, purchase book, we can go to record all types of, so in the purchase book we can go to record all credit purchases. In the sales book we can go to record all credit sales. In the purchase returns book we can go to record all purchase returns. In the sales returns we can go to record all sales returns. And in the cash book we can go to record all cash transactions. In the bills receivable book we record all bills receivable transactions. And in the bills payable book we can go to record all bills payable transactions. So in the journal proper, this is the last book. In the journal proper we can go to record those transactions which we can't record in other 7 subsidiary books. So those transactions which cannot be recorded in other 7 subsidiary books are recorded in the journal proper. Okay children, I think you understood why do we use journal proper. And the preparation of journal proper is similar to the ordinary journal. So here we can go to use the pro forma of a journal for journal proper also. So in the journal proper we can go to see the same columns like what we see in the journal: date, particulars, LF number, debit amount, credit amount. So this is the way of preparation of journal proper. This is the overall meaning of a journal proper book. I hope children you understood. Now in the annual examination you may be asked a theory question for 2 marks. What is journal proper? Then you can go to write this meaning. This is more than enough and you will be awarded 2 marks. And here now see advantages. So what are the advantages if we maintain the journal proper in our organization, in the business organization? The main uses of uses of journal proper are to record the following transactions. So what are the transactions here? See, opening entries, purchase of assets on credit, sale of assets on credit, rectification entries, adjustment entries, closing entries, and transfer entries. All these entries we can go to record in journal proper. So here opening entries. Opening entry means nothing but the entry which we made in the beginning of a financial year or accounting year. Purchase of assets on credit. So we may purchase the assets either cash or on credit. So whenever we purchase assets on credit, then we can go to record that information in the journal proper. Similarly, sales of assets on credit. Whenever we sell the assets on credit, that information should be recorded in journal proper. Rectification entries. Here sometimes we may forget to record some transactions in the books of accounts and we rectify those omitted transactions or missing transactions at the end of the academic accounting period. So at the time we can go to write those entries in the journal proper. Okay students, those are called rectification entries. Adjustment entries. Sometimes we may make some adjustments to asset values or liabilities values. Those adjustments should be recorded in the journal proper. Closing entries. At the end of the year, whatever the entries we write, here we can go to use journal proper. For writing the closing entries, we use journal proper. And transfer entries. Sometimes we may transfer the closing balances from one account to another account. So those transfer entries can be made in the journal proper. So this is the advantage. These are the advantages of preparing or maintaining journal proper in the business. Next, here you see, dear students, it is important for you to get 2 marks. Here you have to memorize, you have to buy out all these assets and liabilities, and some other assets and liabilities also will be there, but most probably these assets and liabilities we will see in the problems, and some more assets also will be added. See, assets, what are the assets are here? You have to buy out all these assets and liabilities. So land and buildings. So the business organization may have the land or building. So in the problem, if we are given land or building, you treat them as asset. And next, plant and machinery. Plant and machinery. Sometimes individually may be given as plant value. Sometimes you may be given a combined value of plant and machinery. So then you make it then you identify that item as an asset. And stock or closing stock. In the problem you will be given stock or closing stock, then you say it as a asset. And cash at bank, cash in hand. If we have the balance with the bank, then that is called cash at bank. If we have the cash balance in your cash counter, then that is called cash in hand. So this is the asset. And bills receivable, so it is also an asset. Furniture and fittings, sometimes furniture and fixtures they may give, so furniture and fittings, it is asset. investments and government bonds. Investments means nothing but when we purchase the shares, when we invest our money in securities and in the shares of the companies, then that is called investment. Investments or government bonds. So these are the assets. There are some more assets you may have, and but most of the assets I covered here. And come to liabilities side: creditors, sundry creditors, bills payable, loan from banks. Sometimes we may take loan from banks, so that is also liability. And bank overdraft, it is also liability. Loan from others, sometimes we may take loan from outsiders of the business, so then that is called as a liability. And other liabilities, so if there are any other liabilities, then we can go to take here. And capital, liability side we will have one more item, capital. So dear students, if you memorize or by heart these assets and liabilities, and you will have 2 marks in your pocket. Now go for next slide. Here one formula also is there. You see how for the calculation of capital we can go to use this formula. It is very simple formula. Capital is equal to total assets minus total liabilities. To find the capital amount in the business, we use this formula. What is the formula? Total of assets minus total of liabilities. From the total of assets we can go to direct total of liabilities, we will get capital. This is the formula to calculate the capital. Okay students, now go for next slide. Here journal proper pro forma is given. You observe carefully. In the annual examination we have to write the entry this type of preparing this type of journal proper. See here, journal proper pro forma, and same headings are commonly given. Date, particulars, LF number, debit amount, credit amount. It is similar to ordinary journal. So with 5 columns: date, particulars, LF number, debit amount, credit amount. So students, here we can go to write first all assets in the debit column, their values in the debit column. All assets first we can go to write, and their amount should be recorded in the debit column. Here if you observe, cash in hand, cash at bank, debit in the debit column amount. Plant and machinery account, a debit in the amount column amount. Furniture and fittings, debit, and amount in the debit column amount we can go to write. Debit debtors or sundry debtors. Sometimes you will be given debtors in the problem, sometimes you will be given in the problem as sundry debtors. So debit amount in the debit column. And bills receivable debit amount in the debit column. Stock or closing stock. Sometimes you will be given stock in the problem, sometimes you will be given a closing stock in the problem. So whatever the amount that is given, you can go to take in the debit column. First you can go to identify all the assets in the problem, and make you can go to enter in the particulars column all the assets one by one and record their value in the debit column. And next what we have to do, and find out the liabilities in the problem and write them in the credit as a credit entry to creditors or sundry creditors. In the credit column, amount you can go to write. To bank overdraft, bank in the credit column, amount you can go to write. Bills payable in the amount column, you can go to write amount. Loan from others or loan from bank, that can be taken in the that can be written in the credit column of the entry. And see here students, after writing the total assets and total liabilities, and here you have to find the capital amount. This is the difference figure from the total assets if you deduct the total liabilities, and you will get capital amount. So that can be recorded in the credit column of the entry. So in this way we can go to write the entry. And see here, yes, formula we can go to use here. So I hope students you understood how to write the entry. So this is the entry. Okay. To find the cap in the problem, you will not be given this capital amount. So capital amount should be calculated by using the formula. What is the formula? Capital is equal to total of assets minus total of liabilities, and you will get capital. That amount should be taken in the credit column of the entry. So students, here we go for next slide. Yes, here one example problem is given. Problem number 31. In the annual examination, this problem will come in the last section, that is G section, as a 31st problem. So this problem will be given in the C section as a 31st problem. So what is that? Write opening entry as on 1st April 2006. See, here the problem will be given like this: machinery 15,000, buildings 25,000, bank loan 10,000, furniture 8,000, debtors 12,000, creditors 14,000, government bond 6,000. Okay, cash in hand 4,000. So this is the problem. From this we can go to identify. First you can go to read the problem twice. What is the problem here? Write opening entry as on 1st April 2006. What are the items that are given in the problem? You can go to read it in your mind. A machinery 15,000, buildings 25,000, bank loan 10,000, furniture 8,000, debtors 12,000, creditors 14,000, government bonds 6,000, and cash in hand 4,000. So these are the items which are given in the problem. Now what we have to do? We have to identify assets and liabilities in this problem. So machinery, is it asset or liability? Yes, it is asset. Write A before 15,000 for understanding point of view. And buildings, is it asset or liability? Yes, it is asset. Okay. And come to next item, that is bank loan. So bank loan or loan from others always can be treated as a liability. Okay, or bank loan is a liability. And furniture, is it asset or liability? Yes, it is asset. Debtors, is it asset or liability? Yes, asset. Creditors, is it asset or liability? Liability. Yes, right. Government bonds, is it asset or liability? Asset. Yes, asset. Cash in hand, is asset or liability? Yes, asset. So you identified assets and liabilities in this problem. So what are the liabilities? Bank loan liability, creditors liability, and these two items are liabilities, and all others are assets. Now from this problem, how we are going to write the opening entry? We can go to observe here. Pro forma of a journal or opening entry as on 1st April 2006. So you observe here how we written that entry. See children, date, in the date column 1st April already we written on the top of the journal proper. So if you want, you can go to right here 1st April 2006 date. And cash in hand, cash at bank 4,000. So in the problem, that is 4,000. Plant and machinery 15,000 asset. Furniture and fittings 8,000 asset. Debtors and sundry debtors debit 12,000 in the debit column. Buildings debit in the debit column 25,000. Government bonds Okay, debit 6,000. So all these are the assets. Okay student, so if you calculate total assets, you will get 70,000. In the rough, you can go to calculate the total of assets, you will get 70,000. From that you can go to deduct creditors, that is 14,000, and loan from bank, that is 10,000. So 10,000 plus 14,000, you will get 24. Total liabilities, total of liabilities is 24,000. From 70,000, if you deduct 24,000, you will get 46,000. That is called as capital. That is called as capital. To capital. In the problem, you are not given capital amount, so we have to calculate the capital by using the formula. What is the formula? Capital is equal total of assets minus total of liabilities. So the difference figure we can go to write as to capital, the difference figure amount 46,000. So narration, here we have to write the narration as being assets and liabilities. Assets and liabilities are brought into the business, are brought into the business. Like that, just that's enough. You can go to write as being assets and liabilities brought into the business. Okay, so in this way you can go to write the prepare the journal pro forma, and you will score 2 marks in the annual examination. Dear students, the problem will be given like this in the annual examination. How the problem will be given? So like this, the problem number 31, keep this point in your mind. Problem number 31, what you will be asked in that problem? Write opening entry as on 1st April 2006, or whatever the year that will be given in the paper, examination paper. Okay, so assets and liabilities information will be given in the problem like this, machinery and buildings, bank loan, furniture, debtors, creditors, government bonds, cash in hand. So like this the problem will be given in the G section as problem number 31. For this problem you can go to write the or prepare the journal just before, as we prepared, as I explained in the way, you can go to prepare journal proper, and you will get, if you prepare the journal proper like this, you will score 2 marks in the annual examination. Okay students, it's very easy to prepare the journal proper and writing the opening entry in the journal proper. If you are able to memorize some assets and liabilities. Okay students, now I hope you understood what is journal proper and how we are going to write the opening entry in the journal proper. Thank you for watching this video.